Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today's video I'm going to be giving you a full guide on the Order of Souls and also the best ways to level them up in Sea of Thieves. So I'll get straight into it. First of all, you've got the Voyage Types. You've got 4 different Voyage Types which have a lot of different subsections. So the first major Voyage type is the Bounty Voyage. So there's a bounty for a skeleton crew, which is where you hunt down a skeleton crew on a small island. Basically, you get a skeleton captain that looks like a normal skeleton, but he just drops you a skull, and that's it on a very small island. Then you've got a bounty for skeleton captains, which is where you hunt down and defeat 3 skeleton captains on a large island. So another like Cannon Cove, Plunder Valley, for example, and you get 3 skulls from this from defeating 3 different captains. You also have a new addition, a bounty for a skeleton lord, where you defeat a skeleton lord basically on a large island, and it gives you a plethora of loot. And then you have Ashen version. So you have an Ashen bounty for a skeleton crew, Ashen bounty for skeleton captains, and Ashen bounty for skeleton lord. Basically the same as the normal ones. It's just you do this in the Devil's Roar, and it can give you better loot. That's Bounty Voyages done. Next up is Ghost Ship Battle. Now you've got 2 Ghost Ship Battle options here, a battle with a Ghost Armada and an Ashen Battle with a Ghost Armada. It's basically the same thing. The Ashen Battle gives you slightly better loot, so I would recommend doing that. The added issue obviously is volcanoes, but I think these are both very, very fun. I don't think the loot is worth it personally, if you want my honest opinion, but they can unlock amazing sales. I made a separate video on them. The loot is okay. Leveling up wise, it's not great, but you do get cool skulls, which are great for commendations. If you're new, I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you just want to get, used to PvE aspects. Then you've got the medley voyages. So you've got a medley of Order of Souls voyages, and you've also got an Ashen medley. These are kind of just a combination. So you've got to defeat skeletons and battle ghost ships. It's basically a combination of the first 2 bounty and ghost ship battles, but just in a very long form voyage. It's only worth it if you've got a lot of time to spare and you know you're going to be playing the game for a while. Then you've got the raid voyages, which you have to dive to now. They're a new type of voyage released recently. You've got a raid on a sea fort, where you obviously go to a sea fort, basically beat a sea fort as normal. Only phantoms are involved in this, and then you get some decent Order of Souls loot. You've got the adventure to a sunken shrine and a sunken treasury, which is okay. I mean, it's decent loot. I wouldn't recommend doing this too much. There are exploits, but again, I wouldn't recommend that because it is kind of cheating. Then you've got a duel with an Ashen Lord, very fun. It's basically like spawning your own Ashen Winds world event in. Again, I'll make a separate video on world events. And I do think the Ashen Lord duel is a very, very good voyage. You obviously get the Ashen Wind Skull, which sells for 10k, which goes to 25k once you have the grade 5 Emissary flag. You get very good loot overall. You get like the specialized Order of Souls loot, and it is really, really good for leveling up. This is definitely what I'd recommend. Although I do believe you have to be a certain level, up around level 25, to do this voyage, but it is very good. And the Duel of an Ashen Lord is good for all companies if you select the company type. Very, very, very good voyage. The next voyage is a raid on a skeleton fort. So this is basically like a normal skeleton fort, same type of waves, all that kind of stuff. Same ending with a fight with a skeleton lord, but you get great loot from it. Honestly, the loot is brilliant for the faction. You probably get a couple of levels. I think it's very good. I think it's very fun. It's a very, very good way to level up, and it's also a very fun way to level up. The bounty voyages can get repetitive, but if you do a raid on a skeleton fort and the Ashen Lord voyages, you won't really get bored. It's very good. Then you have a battle with a skeleton fleet. To be honest, I don't think this is that worth it. You get good loot from it, but it's exceptionally tough. Definitely don't do it solo. It's all right. The loot's good, and it is fun. If you're with mates, I would recommend it, but on its own, maybe not. And then finally, you've got a battle with the Burning Blaze Armada. This is basically like the Ghost Ship Battle on steroids. It is pretty good. I really enjoy these types of battles, but I don't know. I'm not sure if they're worth it for the time you spend, but they are very fun, so I would definitely recommend it. Now on to loot. There's a lot of loot for the Order of Souls, so I'll start with the original skulls, the regular bounty skulls. These were really all that you could get from the bounty voyages up until the recent update. So they are the Foul Bounty Skull, which sells for around 90 to 180 coins. The Disgrace Bounty Skull, which is 180 to 350 coins. The Hateful Bounty Skull, which is 350 coins to 750 coins. And the Villainous Bounty Skull, which is the best skull, which is 750 to 1450 coins. Now bear in mind as well, all of these can be times by 1, by 2, whatever, with the Emissary Valley, which I'll cover later. You've also got Coral Skulls, so you've got the Foul Coral Skull, Disgrace, Hateful, and Villainous. They're basically just the same as normal, but they're about double the value. Then you've got Ashen as well, which are literally double the value. So, for example, the Ashen Villainous sells for up to 2,800, but it's basically just the normal 4 with Ashen put in front of them. You've also got ghostly skulls for Skull of the Damned and the Captain's Skull of the Damned, which you get from the Burning Blade and the Ghost Ship Armada fights. And you've also got skulls like the Skeleton Captain's Skull, which you get from, well, beating Skeleton Captain, so ships. You get Stronghold Skull from Strongholds, the Gold Hoarder Skull, which you get from the Tall Tale, the 9th Tall Tale, the Shores of Gold. And you also have the Ashen Wind Skull, which you can get from the Ashen Lords. Now, Season 11 also added a whole host of new loot. So, they added the Eye of Souls, which is exceptionally valuable. It can sell for thousands and thousands. The Wrathful King's Bounty Skull, which sells for about 5,000 coins. It's a lot of money. You've also got the Dark Bounty Skull, the Vile Bounty Skull, the Corrupted Bounty Skull, the Vicious Bounty Skull. And that is it for the main skulls. But then you've also got the Ashen versions, so the Ashen Vicious Bounty Skull, the Ashen King's Bounty, Ashen Corrupted, Ashen Vile, as well as the Bewitching Doll, Enchantment Vessel, Hexing Skull, and Mutinous Effigy. So these are all the new loot that you can get for the Order of Souls. Now, the Order of Souls Emissary is pretty much the same as all the other emissaries. Just vote at the Emissary table, and then you have level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which you can level up by just finding loot or putting it on your ship. And for example, level 3 gives you a 1.5 times increase in your gold, level 4 gives you a 2 times, and level 5 gives you a 2.5 times. That's pretty much it. I don't think it affects reputation. But yeah, that's the Emissary thing in a nutshell. You've also got the Emissary Ledger, which you level up by selling loot as an Emissary. Doesn't matter what grade you are. And at the end of every month, depending on how much loot you've sold, you'll get basically cosmetic items for the Order of Souls. There are a ton of commendations for the Order of Souls. So one's related to completing voyages, earning 150,000 gold, sailing nautical miles, purchasing voyages, and then selling each different types of skulls, so foul, bounty, disgraced, hateful, and villainous, defeating crews, captains, beating forts, delivering fort skulls, all that kind of stuff. Loads of commendations and loads of cosmetics to earn. The really cool ones are like Hunter of Damned Captains, where you get really cool sales for them. Again, I made a video on that. But yeah, that's effectively Order of Souls in a nutshell. You also can get a ton of promotions, which I'm not going to mention, but you can get up to level 100 now, which gets you the promotions, and then you can increase it to level 500, but only level 1 to 100 gets you promotions. I believe it's every five levels up until 55, up until 75, and then you get one every 10, I believe. So it's pretty good, and you can unlock a whole host of cosmetics for the Order of Souls, which I think are really cool. I think they have a worse cosmetics, though, out of the 3 main factions, which is the only issue. But that's basically the Order of Souls in a nutshell. It's a pretty good faction, and it's the faction focused on fighting skeletons and skeleton ships, and kind of ghosts, but less so ghosts, more so skeletons. So what's the best way to level it up? I would basically recommend doing Forts of Fortune, which are world events, or just normal skeleton forts, and also doing world events for like skeleton ships, because you get great loot from them for the Order of Souls, and also do bounty voyages. They do give you good loot, but once you've unlocked the Skeleton Fort Raid Voyage for the Order of Souls and the Ashen Lord Raid Voyage, I definitely recommend just doing them. They level you up really, really fast. Obviously put an Emissary up, and yeah, that's the best way to level your Order of Souls up. So yeah, I think the Order of Souls is probably my favourite faction. I really enjoy going around just chilling and killing skeletons. I think it's great. I think it's really good. But yeah, that's about it. So that's the Order of Souls. Not really in a nutshell. It's quite a long video, but a kind of short-ish guide on the Order of Souls, you know, how to level them up, and just the kind of general stuff about them. So I hope this helped you, and I hope this kind of increased your knowledge on the Order of Souls. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.